Hi everybody, it's Shuba. Welcome back to my channel. I am so excited to start this vlog. We'll see how many days it goes. Today is Tuesday, January 30th. A very exciting day for all, or just a regular day for some. But today is the new season premiere of Vanderpump Rules. I'm so excited. Got my shirt on. We're ready to go. It airs at 7:30, so we have about 45 minutes Kansas time. But also another very exciting day because House of Flame and Shadows is officially out. I have the ebook version. The reason why I chose this version is because I have the paperback of the first and second, and I like to keep things organized, especially when it comes to series. And I wanted the paperback of this third book, but they don't have that yet and they don't sell it yet. I think it'll be like another year before they sell it. So I decided to just get the ebook, and also it's over 800 pages long, so this will be a lot easier to read. If you don't know my thoughts and feelings towards this series, I talked about it in a previous vlog, which I will link down below for the second book. I did one of my very first vlogs and it gave you my thoughts on it, but I won't go into too much detail. But I didn't love the first and second book. I will say that I think it was way too long. It didn't need to be 800 pages. I think also the reason is because I'm not as attached to the characters as I was for ACOTAR and Throne of Glass. I actually reread the entire ACOTAR series just so I could be prepared for this third book. If you read the last few pages of House of Sky and Breath, then you will probably know why. I read the first 3 ACOTAR books, and then I read and listened to A Court of Frost and Starlight. It was just really cute. And I started reading A Court of Silver Flames, but I just decided that I was done being in the ACOTAR world, and I ended up just watching Cari Can Read's plot summary, which I will link down below as well. She is hilarious, and she just does such a good job with explaining the plot in like 4 hours. It's like you're watching a movie, and the way she just summarizes everything is brilliant. So I thought that was a lot more fun than actually reading A Court of Silver Flames, so I did that, and now I am ready. I'm ready to start this book. We'll see how long it takes. Today is Tuesday, like I said, Tuesday evening. I do have to go to work tomorrow. I have to go into work tomorrow and Thursday. But tonight it is 6:50 p.m. We just ate dinner. We had some leftover noodles, and I am gonna get cozy and get ready to read for a little bit. At 7:30, we are going to watch the season premiere of Vanderpump Rules. I'm ready for the drama. We just watched a recap of the previous season of Vanderpump Rules, so we are ready for some James Kennedy. Who is your favorite character if you do watch Vanderpump Rules? Let me know. Character as if this is a book. Reality TV. You know what I mean. But let me know. I think my favorite is James Kennedy. I do like Lala a lot. I will see you next time when I give you an update of House of Flame and Shadow. Bye. Hi everybody, happy February 1st. We made it. January is over, we did it, longest month ever, and it is done with. I did read a lot of good books, which this weekend I will be filming and publishing my January reads wrap up, so stay tuned for that. It'll be live before this vlog is out, but I wanted to just say that I didn't vlog yesterday. Nothing happened. I worked and then went on a walk with Mark and the dogs because it was beautiful outside. It was 60s in Kansas City. It's been 60s all week, really. So today I went on a walk as well. After work, I ran 2.5 miles and I read while I ran. I went slow and I read my book, and I'm here for my first reading update to share with you all. I am on chapter 13, page 138, so I am 17% in. And I'm trying to not share any spoilers for this book since it just came out, so bear with me. Going into this book, you all know how I felt with the second book. I enjoyed the first book. The second book was just not my favorite at all. But going into this third book, House of Flame and Shadows, I was like, clean slate, zero expectations. Just read the book and let's just go from there. And I can happily say that I am liking the story and where we are at so far. I'm almost 20% done. It has been going by so fast. Such a quick read, what I've read so far. I feel like I've barely read it all. Thankfully, the weekend's coming and I'll get a big chunk done tonight and tomorrow and Saturday. I'll probably be done by the weekend. I really enjoy it so far. You know, I feel like I'm comfortable with the plot since I did just read the second book not too long ago. I am interested to see where we go with the characters and where Bryce is at with her plot point and what is happening to her. So that's all I'm going to say. I do enjoy it right now, and I think it's because I had zero expectations. I went into Crescent City, the first book, just being like, it's a Sarah J. Maas book. I'm going to love it so much. It's going to be so great. But the more I sit and think about the series and comparing Throne of Glass to ACOTAR to Crescent City, Throne of Glass and ACOTAR, they're just really, really good. For me, the ranking is Throne of Glass is gold medal, ACOTAR is silver, and then we have Crescent City, which is bronze, and that's fine. It doesn't have to be my favorite. I just expected more. I think it's nice that I'm reading the story from just not expecting too much. So I like it so far, and I'm excited to keep reading. It is 6:30, like I said, February 1st, and so we are going to make dinner. We're making tacos for dinner, and then I'm going to probably spend the rest of the evening reading. We've been watching Marvel movies from chronological order, so we'll probably just have that in the background and I'll just keep reading the book since I do have it on my Kindle. Dinner is served. We have tacos with some Costco salsa, Costco chips, homemade guacamole, Costco tortillas, Costco cheese. Hi everybody, happy Friday. It is the next day. I think I left you yesterday with my first reading update. We made dinner and then I just read for quite some time and went to sleep. This morning I woke up and I got dressed and went to a coffee shop to work and catch up with my friend, and that was a lot of fun. I had to stop by the local bookstore that was right next to the coffee shop. It is a cute little bookstore called Rainy Day Books. They gave me a little bag and everything. I thought I'd share some of the books that I got with you. I have talked about this book in my 2024 most anticipated releases video, which I will link down below as well if you would like to watch. This is a horror book about a group of people who end up climbing a cliff rock area in Arkansas, and some of them get away safely, but one of them dies or is missing. Nobody really knows what happened, and this just seems like a creepy horror novel, which I am very much into, so I'm looking forward to reading this book, and I'm glad I got the copy physically. I don't know, it just looks really cool. You can kind of see the cliff, but then you also see someone rock climbing right there on the nose. Kind of looks like snot, I don't know. Yeah, so that is one of the books I got. This is This Wretched Valley by Jenny. And this next one is, I believe, a literary fiction. This is Ghosts by Dolly Alderton. I have never actually read any of her books, but recently I feel like I've been on this literary fiction or contemporary fiction kick. I did read Night Bitch by Rachel Yoder and I loved it. And since then, I'm trying to find more books like it. And I think the next two that I did have are going to be more like it. But Dolly Alderton is a really popular author right now. I know she has a new book that just came out or is coming out. It was at the bookstore, but I decided to get this because it's a little bit shorter. I think the cover is beautiful. I don't really know much about it. There is a bookstagrammer that I follow. Her name is Lauren. I will link her handle down below, but she's currently reading this book and I recently became friends with her online and I think she has great taste. So if she likes it, then I'll probably like it as well. But I will give you a quick synopsis of the back and what it says. It says, Nina Dean is not especially bothered that she's single. She owns her own apartment. She's about to publish her second book. She has a great relationship with her ex-boyfriend. And she has enough friends to keep her social calendar full and her hangovers plentiful. And then she downloads a dating app and does the seemingly impossible. She meets a great guy on her first date. Max is handsome and built like a lumberjack. He has floppy blonde hair and a stable job. But more surprisingly than anything else, Nina and Max have chemistry. They dance together like fools, they happily dig deep into nuances of crappy music, and they create an entire universe of private jokes and chemical bliss. But when Max ghosts her, Nina is forced to deal with everything she's been trying so hard to ignore. Her father's dementia is getting worse, and so is her mother's denial of it. Her editor hates her new fun book idea, and her best friend from childhood is icing her out. This is said to be a funny, tender, and eminently movingly relatable story. Ghosts is a whip-smart tale of relationship and modern life. It's a really short read. It is 300 pages, so I'm sure I would get this done quite quickly, but I don't know. I really like the cover, and I'm trying new things this year. Hence with this booktube channel. This is the second book that I got. These last two books I know nothing really about except the cover, and I am just really interested in reading them. This first one is Tender in the Flesh, and it is by Augustina Bazterrica. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. But this, I read Night Bitch, and I heard that, I didn't hear, I guess, I went online and I just wanted some books that might be similar to Night Bitch. This book and this next book that I am about to share, they are supposed to be literary or contemporary fiction, but I was trying to find them at the bookstore and they were under horror, which I guess makes sense. I think I would maybe put Night Bitch under the horror category. It's like satirical horror, I guess, too. But I picked this book up. On the back, it doesn't really say what it's even about. Oh, there's like a floppy thing right here. It says, working at the local processing plant, Marcos is in the business of slaughtering humans, though no one calls them that anymore. His wife has left him, his father is sinking into dementia, and Marcos tries not to think too hard about how he is making a living. After all, it happened so quickly. First, it was reported that an infectious virus has made all animal meat poisonous to humans. Ugh. Then, governments initiate the transition. Now, eating human meat, special meat, is legal. Marcos tries to stick to numbers, consignments, processing. Then one day he's given a gift, a live specimen of the finest quality. Though he's aware that any form of personal contact is forbidden on pain of death, little by little, he starts to treat her like a human being. And soon he becomes tortured by what has been lost and what might still be saved. This just seems like a creepy, weird, messed up story, kind of like Night Bitch, which I'm really excited to read. I don't know what that says about me, but yes, I'm glad I picked this up. Also, the cover is really cool. And then this last book that I got is Mother Thing by Ainsley Hogarth. This also, I believe this is similar to Frankenstein. I'm not positive, so we'll read the back together. It says, she's dead in the basement and she's refusing to leave. When Ralph and Abby Lamb move in with Ralph's mother, Laura, Abby hopes it's just what she and her mother-in-law need to finally connect. After a traumatic childhood, Abby is desperate for a mother figure, especially now that she and Ralph are trying to become parents themselves. Abby just has so much love to give, to Ralph to love, and to Mrs. Bondi, her favorite resident at a long-term care home where she works. But Laura isn't interested in bonding with her daughter-in-law. She's venomous and cruel, especially to Abby, and life with her is hellish. When Laura takes her own life, her ghost starts to haunt Abby and Ralph in different ways. Ralph is plunged into depression, and Abby is terrorized by a force intent on destroying everything she loves. To make matters worse, Mrs. Bondi's daughter is threatening to move her from care home, leaving Abby totally alone. With everything on the line, Abby comes up with a chilling plan that will allow her to keep Mrs. Bondi, rescue Ralph from his tortured mind, and break Laura's hold on the family for good. All it requires is a little ingenuity, a lot of determination, and a unique recipe for chicken a la king. Okay, so this is not a Frankenstein retelling or anything like that. I was wrong, but still seems interesting, funky, fresh. It says that it is quirky, unexpected, and charming. A masterfully crafted horror novel that packs a punch. So these are the 4 books that I got from Rainy Day Books. And if you're ever in Kansas City, stop by. So cute. I also thought I could give you an update of where I'm at with House of Flame and Shadow and my thoughts. I am currently on page 233. That is 29%. And I really enjoy it so far. At first, I thought that this story was a little weird with the multiple POVs. We know that she did that throughout the first and second book, but this third one, I really like it because she does a good job of leaving us hanging at the best parts. Like, we'll start reading about a character and their point of view and the plot that's happening, and then all of a sudden there's a cliffhanger and we pause and we shift over to another character's point of view to still keep the plot progressing and going, and I really like that. I feel like it helps me remember the plot a little bit better just because we're hopping back and forth, kind of like when we hop back in time, but this is from like a point of view perspective, and I really like it. I thought I wouldn't, since I didn't necessarily like the multiple POVs from the first and second book, but I think she did a really good job with this third book so far. And with where this story is going, it is wild. I mean, I'm trying to remember what I even read yesterday. I feel like it's been a minute. So far, I really enjoy it. I think that we're setting up the characters in a really good spot. I'm trying to explain how I feel without spoilers, and it's a little bit difficult, but we'll get there. I like the writing. I think that the writing is a lot better than the first story. I feel like there's not as much of filler moments with this book because it's so that's why it's so fast paced, and we're just going between characters back and forth and reading from their point of view. So I really do enjoy that. I'm hoping that I can get a little bit of reading in this evening. It is beautiful outside. It's like 60 degrees out, and I want to go take a walk. I'm supposed to run tomorrow, 6.2 miles, but we will see. Maybe I'll run today. To be determined. But yeah, so far, very happy with the story. I'm enjoying reading it, and I think that's how I should be feeling. Not I think, I know. But I didn't feel this way when I was reading the second book at all, so I was a little bit nervous, but it's all working out. So that is my thoughts so far. That's all I wrote. And I do have a section full of spoilers, which I will not talk about until the very end. And I'll be very, very, very clear when we get to the part of the video where I'm going to have spoilers. So if anybody wants to skip out on that, they can, since this is so new. But I want to do a little bit of both. I wanted to try spoilers and no spoilers. So yes, that is my reading update. Those are my books that I got from my mini book haul, and now I am going to finish up work, and we'll see where this afternoon takes us. Maybe make some more coffee. So yeah, I will see you in the next update. I'm cozy again, finally. It's been a long day. I'm not sure if I've ever mentioned this before, but this coffee mug, I actually made it. I took a ceramics class last year and I made a few mugs. So some of the few mugs that you probably see in these vlogs are ones that I've made myself. And I really like this mug. I think it's one of my favorites. It's just really cute. Makes me want to take another ceramics class. I'm about to sit down and read if I could find my Kindle. This blanket is the best blanket on the planet. It's a Mon Chateau from Costco. I promise we buy and use things other than what's from Costco. We just love Costco, you know, that fancy lifestyle, that exclusive VIP club life. I found my book there. I'm gonna read for a little bit, drink my coffee. I think Mark is working on cleaning up the attic right now. We are trying to get organized so we can start moving things from the basement into the attic so we can start redesigning and finishing our basement, which will be nice. We have porcine pasta tonight for dinner. It's a TikTok recipe. I can show you the finished product. We make it all the time. It's so easy. It's so good too. That's all I have to say. And I will talk to you soon. I'm gonna keep reading and enjoy my Friday night. Got our porcine pasta, tomatoes, eggplant, broccolini, jalapenos, peppers, porcine cheese, and now we're gonna top in the pasta. Oh yeah. Protein pasta. I'll do a little mixing. This is really hard to do with your left hand when you're right-handed. Dinner is served. Got some of my habanero cheese sourdough bread and some orange olipop. Or no, this is actually poppy. Yum! Good morning, happy Saturday. Just made my fresh coffee. It tastes so good. Last night after dinner, Mark and I think I mentioned this already, but we started watching the Marvel movies in chronological order. So yesterday we watched Thor Ragnarok and then Ant-Man and the Wasp. If I watch, I mean Mark was watching and he was playing his game. He's playing Fallout right now, Fallout 4, and then I was just reading my book. Today it is time for some of our favorite movies, Infinity War and Endgame. So we'll be probably watching that this morning. Mark went to go get donuts from our favorite local donut shop. It's called Mr. D's Donuts. So good. Their donuts are fresh. Can't wait to eat those for breakfast. But today on the docket, we don't have very many plans at all, which is going to be amazing. I do have to run 6.2 miles today, so that's going to be something that I'm going to do. And it's supposed to rain outside all day. So I will most likely run inside, and that way I can also read my book. I'm a very slow runner, and so it'll probably, on a treadmill, take me about less than 2 hours. So it's perfect time to get some reading in anyway. I think I have like 10 hours left of the book, but I made it to part 2. I'm 42% in, I think. Bryce just makes me really angry. I realize I don't like her, and I guess I didn't like her in the first book or the second book either, but this third book even more so. I'm like, you're making dumb decisions. You are reckless. Like, do you even know what you're doing? I don't like her. But I like all of the other characters. I really like Rune now. I like Ethan. I like Declan and Emmett and all of them. I think they're so fun. So you win some and you lose some. That's fine. So I'm going to read a lot today, and I'm going to record my monthly wrap-up video. It is for the month of January and all the books that I read, and then I'll probably edit it tonight and then publish it tomorrow morning. Mark is having a virtual game night with his buddies, so it's just going to be me relaxing, watching some TV, and reading my book. Maybe I'll finish it today, who knows, but thought I'd just give you an update on where I'm at, how this morning is going, and I'll show you the donuts once Mark gets back because they are so good. Donuts, 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 donuts for donuts. I hope you go and get yourself some donuts today because you deserve it. Oh my gosh, look, we have a s'mores donut. We have German chocolate with coconut sprinkles. I think Mark got himself a blueberry donut. And my favorite, a Bavarian cream-filled chocolate Long John. Ooh, there's stuff under there too. Wow! Yum. It's time. Got my coffee. I'm gonna play some Zelda Tears of the Kingdom while we watch. Yay! Cozy day. It is Sunday, 4:30, and it's been quite some time since I even brought this camera back out. Yesterday got pretty busy. We started watching Shang-Chi, such a good movie, and we stopped because Mark had a game night with his friends, and then I ended up doing my January wrap-up video. I edited that and I published it this morning, so if you haven't had a chance to watch it yet, please go watch and let me know if you read any of the books that I read in January. But this morning I went to Pilates at 9 a.m. and then my sister and I got coffee, caught up, and went to Rainy Day Books, which is a local bookstore in Kansas City. I did end up getting a few books, and after that we spontaneously went to Under the Cover. It is a romance bookstore in Kansas City, and neither of us had been before. Super cute. And so I ended up getting a few books from there as well, and I'll probably do a book haul at some point and share the books that I got. A lot of the books that I got were romance related since it is February, and I think I want to do a vlog of me just reading some romance books. Love is in the Air. Reading update for you. I am 54%. Bryce just makes me so mad. I don't like her at all. I also realized that Therian is annoying as well. I'm getting bored. I know at the beginning of my reading update, I was like, this is fun. I can do this. But now I am just wanting the book to end. But I need to power through. I have about 7 hours left. I'm more than halfway. I just need to finish just so I can kind of gather my thoughts and really decide if this series is worth it or not. But here I am just struggling to read this story, and oh yes, hi, you're a good girl. Who's a good girl? But I'm just gonna keep reading until I just don't read anymore. My goal is to finish this book tonight. I'm gonna be up until as long as I can be to try to read and finish because I want to move on with my life. There, that's that. That's all I have for you. Molly feels the same way too, she says. Oh. Okay, so I'm a little past part 3. I think I'm at the last part. I think there's only 3 parts. We'll see, but I just wanted to give a quick reading update. So I know I mentioned in part 1, I overall liked it. I thought that the plot point was going forward. I enjoyed the characters and their little bits of pieces throughout the story as we kind of build up their own plots, their own mini plots within the larger plot. So part 1 was good. The characters were intriguing and we kept going. And then things got lost at part 2. I couldn't really pick this book up. That's why it's taken me so long to read this book, just because I think it was kind of boring and I didn't really know what was going on. There was what I realized that there's so much plot going forward that things didn't really make sense. For example, we have multiple POVs, and like I mentioned, they were great in part 1, but then in part 2, they just keep moving forward and there's no like final ending of the plot, that things were just a little bit confusing and boring, I gotta say. But the end of part 2 was wild. I feel like it all came together, as Sarah J. Maas has done throughout the last 2 books, which I'm starting to realize I don't think I like. I am not into this whole mini plots going on for 600 pages and then all of a sudden it all comes together. I think that it should honestly be separate books at this point. That is why maybe this book is 800 plus pages. I don't think that Sarah J. Maas did such a good job with that. But the end of part 2 caught me off guard. And I'm like, okay, I see where we're going. Maybe part 3 will be like wild. And so far, part 3 is good. I realize I don't like Bryce in terms of character development. She's not my favorite. I feel like Sarah J. Maas is trying to create like a Aelin wannabe. And if you read Throne of Glass, you'll know who Aelin is. And Bryce is just not Aelin. Bryce is kind of very annoying, and I don't like any of the decisions that she makes, and I don't like how she treats Hunt. I realize that Hunt and Bryce don't really have that healthy of a relationship. There's a point where they have like trust issues still, and they're mates, so this should not be happening at all. I don't know, but part 3 is good so far. Things are coming together, and I have 25% left, so I'm going to finish the book tonight. I'm very excited. I want to apologize and say that this vlog has just been a mess. Do people even like watching vlogs? I like watching other people's vlogs, and then I watch my own, and I'm filming this, and I'm like, I'm just blabbing. I don't really know what I'm even saying half the time, other than the books and what I've been doing for the past 2 days, which I feel like is what I do every single weekend. Anyway, if I'm comparing this book so far to book 1 and book 2, I would say that book 3, this book, is in between book 1 and book 2. I enjoyed book 1. It was fun to read, and the storyline was there. And book 2, I just didn't like it at all. It was boring. It went on for too long. Nothing really made sense. And now we're at book 3, and it's not bad. It's minus a little dull moments here and there for me. I am still liking it. I wouldn't say enjoying it so much, but I am liking it. If you hear a noise, Mark is in the attic and he's cleaning, and so that's where there's like drilling noises, and I don't know what he's doing up there, but yeah, it's okay. This book is okay. We'll see as I keep reading this last final 25%. I hope I can put it up there at like a 3.54, but we'll see. Yes, that is my update. I'm going to finish up, and hopefully once I finish this book, I can kind of sit and marinate on my thoughts, and at the very end of this vlog, I'll put a spoiler version of my full thoughts, just so anyone wants to see how I really feel about this. It's hard to be vague about a brand new book because I don't want to spoil how I feel for people, but I also want to try to tell you how I'm feeling reading the book, since it literally just came out a few days ago. Yes. Okay. Onward. We shall keep reading. Bye. Okay, I'm going to pause for a second here and say I enjoyed Ethan's storyline in book 1 and book 2, or whenever he came in. Honestly, I can't keep track of like what happened in what book. But what is the point of his story? What is the point of Therion's story too? I don't know. I do like Rune's storyline. I think Rune might be my favorite character, actually, besides Lahaba and besides the Sphinx. Syrinx, besides Syrinx, and the sprites. I like the sprites. Yeah, I think those are my favorite characters, the minor characters. Rune is a major character, but besides him, I like the little cute little minor characters. I feel like I know Ethan's story now. I feel like part 3 is a little bit of like Mission Impossible. Everyone is just splitting off into their own little plot lines and missions that have to go on, and then they're probably going to come back together for like a final big task mission. This is me trying to explain the book without giving the book away. How confusing. How do people do this? I think I told you I'm not a fan of Therion very much. I don't know. He's fine. He's just there. I think he had more substance in the first 2 books, and then now I feel like Sarah J. Maas just made his character like pathetic almost. I say that in a nice way. I think he really cares and he means well, but that's also with Ethan too. But what I just read about Ethan just makes up for everything that happened. So maybe with Therion we'll get some peace with his character. Also, one of the characters' names sounds like my sister's name. So every time I read the character's name, I keep thinking about my sister as if she's in the book. It's really silly. 78% through. See, this is a point of the book where I'm like, I want to stick with one plot point, and I want to stick with that plot point in the character POV for the entirety. I don't want to keep moving back and forth. I don't want that right now. All right, we just had dinner, and I made myself a late night cup of coffee with my wedding mugs. I also have this tattoo on my arm, but made some fresh coffee. It says I have 3 hours and 25 minutes left, but I think I'm going to finish that a little bit sooner, but we're going to power through and finish this off. I'm really not expecting this, I gotta say. This is different. I might actually like it. So I really think this would be a good TV show rather than a book, because I think since there are so many character POVs, that I think it should just... very conflicted about how I feel with this book. I'm going to be really upset if there's going to be a 4th book for this series. Why are we introducing another character when we're 84% of this book through? Why? This is too much. How do they have time to get intimate when the world is falling apart? What? What is happening? 13% left and everyone is just making out. Hi everybody, it is the next day. It's Monday the 5th, and I promised myself that I was going to finish the book yesterday, so I stayed up until almost midnight reading the book and finishing it, and I didn't want to vlog right away just because I wanted to marinate and sit with my thoughts and how I felt with the book, but I can happily say that I really enjoyed House of Flame and Shadows. I think that Sarah J. Maas redeemed herself. I told you how I felt about part 1 of the book and part 2. I left you off at part 3, and it was really good. I liked it a lot. I feel like she just reeled everything back in. It was fast-paced. It was fresh. I'm not going to lie, I did cry a few times at the very end of the book, and I will talk about that during my spoiler review and my thoughts on it, which will be at the second half of this clip when I'll tell you when there's going to be spoilers, so don't worry at all. Don't worry about it. Overall, it was a perfect ending. It was just so good. I am impressed. I think that this book honestly makes up for the other 2 books. I think this book was better than the first book in itself. So I am really glad that I stuck through it and I read it because she did well. She did it. Yeah. In terms of the characters, there were a lot of characters to read from, and honestly, by the end of it, I was just kind of sick of it. I realized that since there were so many characters, I didn't care for a lot of them. The only character that I really liked was Rune and his love life. It was still nice to see how the rest of the characters ended up in the book. So just because we did go on that journey through the first book and the second book with the multi-POVs, she just wrapped everything up really well, and I thought that the ending was good enough to just be like, this is it, this is the end, close the book. But we know that Sarah J. Maas is probably gonna make a 4th Crescent City just because there are 4 houses in Midgard. So I am fully expecting a 4th book, and I'm going to read it. Would I recommend this book? Yes. If you read the first and second one, and if you love them, you'll love this book. And if you didn't read them, you should read them before this third, or you're going to get very confused. Overall, it was really good, and I enjoyed it a lot. And I can only say that without spoilers. I will go into a little bit more detail with the spoilers in the next clip below. Thank you so much for watching. If you're ending this video here, in this vlog here, it was a whirlwind. It was a wild ride, and a lot of it was just me blabbing and talking nonsense. I hope it was fun though. I started editing the full video yesterday, and I did chuckle a little bit at myself. I will see you in my next video, but please stay if you're wanting spoiler review and my spoiler thoughts. The next section is going to not be spoiler free. Okay, bye. Hi everybody. So the books are over. This third book is done, and I'm going to do a spoiler video and talk about my thoughts and feelings towards House of Flame and Shadow. Honestly, the first part was really good. I did like the history lesson that we got with the Asteri, and I liked how there was Nesta and Cassian. I was a little bit underwhelmed though, I have to say. I don't know what I was expecting. I know this is a Crescent City novel and this is not going to be ACOTAR related, so Sarah J. Maas made it like a little hint of ACOTAR, and good for her. I really like the dabbling into multiverse. I am a big fan of the MCU, Marvel Cinematic Universe, so if you can pull it off, then go at it, go for it. And Sarah J. Maas did it. She made it very clear that the multiverse is real. The Massiverse is what people are calling it. Part 1 was good. I understood why she did what she did, so I do appreciate that, and she did it well. I just wish there was more of traveling within the ACOTAR universe and not just within the caves, but maybe we'll get that in future books, so we will see. In terms of part 2, I thought it was very boring. I found myself not wanting to read the book at all, but I just knew that I had to power through. I'm pretty sure this is at the end of part 2, but I don't really understand like why, what's her name? Lydia. She has, like, they brought up like the children and Lydia's kids, and I understand maybe that was because of like a problem solution for Rune and Lydia to figure out and solve together, and maybe there's gonna be more books with the kids, but I don't know. I was like, who's the mystery father? Is the mystery father somebody related to Throne of Glass? Because it's never mentioned at all. So that's what I was wondering when I got to that part where we talk about the kids and we talk about where Lydia is from originally. In part 3, I loved it. I thought it brought back the whole entire story together, especially part 3 when she opens up the world or the realm back to ACOTAR for Nesta so she can get the mask. I thought that was really fun, and saving her parents, and that was really sweet, and I enjoyed that. So the fact that Sarah J. Maas just like wrapped it all together from part 1 into part 3 was really cool. It was very well done. And I did cry a few times at the end of part 3. I cried when Connor showed up. I always liked Connor. I like Connor more than Hunt. I'm saying it here. I'm sorry. Don't come at me. We barely got any of Connor, and I really liked him. What if he and Bryce were mates? What if they were supposed to be mates? But then Connor just died, and they couldn't be mates anymore. But I love that he showed up for that bullet, and they freed all the souls, and that was really cute and sweet. The more I think about it, House of Flame and Shadow, the name of the book, it was perfect ending because Lahaba, she's a sprite, a part of House of Flame and Shadow. And then at the end of the book, they have the sprites saving Midgard. It was so cute. I cried then too. And then when we find out that Lydia is a descendant of Brannon from Throne of Glass, that means that Lydia is related to Aelin. Crazy. Sarah J. Maas, all of those little details were pulled off and very, very well done. And then also when I just really liked how the main quote, what is the main quote? Through love, all is possible. When Bryce dies and Hunt goes and saves her, and then it's all of her friends and loved ones like pulling Hunt and Bryce back. It was just so sweet. There's so many theories out there with this third book, and I can't keep up. I haven't even like looked into much of it, but the one theory that I did look up was about Jessica Roga. So Roga was like a very long-lived immortal, right? And she traded lives with Bryce. And so what if Roga is Thea? Because Jessica was spending most of her time protecting the books that were about Thea in the past, and the Asteri wanted to destroy those books. So what if Thea was Roga protecting Bryce, and then everything just like coming full circle with history? I don't know, I didn't make that theory up. I don't know where I saw it. So whoever made that theory up, kudos to them, and I believe that. I do. Overall, I really enjoyed the story and the ending to the third book. We know there's going to be a fourth one, and I'm going to read it. Probably ebook it. Overall, I'm very impressed, and I'm glad I read it. And I'm glad I read the rest of the series. We did it. We made it. Wasn't sure I was going to pull through, but yeah, it was great. That was my rants and rambles and thoughts of A House of Flame and Shadow with spoilers. I hope you watched that because you wanted to, and I hope I didn't spoil anything, but I did warn you multiple times that this was happening. With that, I am going to end this vlog. and I'll see you in another video. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and comment down below and subscribe to my channel. Videos come every weekend, once a week, so every week, usually at the end of the weekend. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna go now. Okay, thank you so much. Bye, everybody.